oil tycoon J. Paul Getty was considered the richest man in the world in the mid-20th century. His company, Getty Oil, was a giant force in the petroleum market at the time. The empire he built brought him almost to the very top of global wealth, with a fortune equivalent to $6 billion today. Strangely, despite his incredible wealth, he was infamous for being extremely stingy. Maybe that's the real secret to staying rich. What do you think? His frugality was so extreme that when his grandson was kidnapped in 1973, Getty refused to pay the ransom, causing outrage around the world. In 19th century America, no one dominated transportation like Cornelius Vanderbilt. He built steamboat and railroad networks that became the lifelines of U.S. trade. And of course, much of the wealth flowing through those trade routes also flowed directly into Vanderbilt's pockets. With an equivalent fortune of $185 billion, he became a symbol of America's industrial revolution. Known for his cutthroat competition and razor-sharp business instincts, Vanderbilt eliminated rivals one by one, living by the motto that anything goes on the road to victory. A nobleman of the Duchy of Normandy, Alan Rufus became one of England's largest landowners after the Norman conquest in 1066. Back then, land was the ultimate form of wealth, and Alan had plenty of it. His estates and military influence built him a fortune worth $194 billion today, placing him at the very peak of medieval nobility. Known across Europe as Jacob the Rich, Fugger was centuries ahead of his time in banking and commerce. His financial empire grew so vast that he even lent money to the mighty Habsburg dynasty. From mining to textile trade, he controlled key sectors of the European economy. With a net worth equivalent to $221 billion today, Fugger was the ultimate behind-the-scenes power player, influencing the political balance of Europe from the shadows. The Duke of Normandy, who became King of England after his 1066 invasion, William built his wealth through war booty and land ownership. Worth $229 billion in today's money, he revolutionized England's economic system with the Domesday Book, a massive land survey that maximized royal revenues. The last Nizam of Hyderabad, Mir Osman Ali Khan, was worth an estimated $230 billion in the early 20th century. In his era, he was not just the richest man in India, but one of the wealthiest individuals in the entire world. His diamond-encrusted throne, gold-filled vaults, and massive jewelry collection remain legendary. A Scottish immigrant to the U.S., Carnegie built a steel empire that shaped the Industrial Revolution. He was one of the greatest beneficiaries of that era's booming industry, amassing a fortune estimated between $310 and $372 billion in today's dollars. Remarkably, he spent much of his later life giving away most of it funding libraries, universities, and charities. He famously said, "The man who dies rich dies disgraced," a philosophy that won him admiration worldwide. The founder of the modern petroleum industry, Rockefeller's Standard Oil Company controlled almost the entire U.S. oil market. With a net worth of $341 billion today, he had unmatched power over global energy prices. His sharp strategies earned both admiration and hatred, and countless conspiracy theories surrounded his name. Still, his philanthropic legacy lives on through the Rockefeller Foundation, which continues to help millions worldwide. The legendary ruler of the Mali Empire, Mansa Musa, controlled the gold and salt trade across East Africa, amassing a fortune of about $400 billion today. During his 1324 pilgrimage to Mecca, he distributed so much gold that the value of the metal in Egypt dropped for decades. Musa transformed Timbuktu into a global center of learning and culture, building mosques, libraries, and universities that shaped history. A figure we all know well, Elon Musk, founder of Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, and several other ventures. Musk is currently the richest man alive, with a net worth of $424 billion. He's revolutionized electric vehicles, reshaped space exploration with his Mars ambitions, and keeps the world talking with his bold tweets and unconventional decisions. Founder of the Mongol Empire, Genghis Khan didn't measure wealth in personal property, but had absolute control over his empire's resources. By seizing much of the Silk Road, he commanded the heartbeat of Eurasian trade. Adjusted for today's value, his control over resources would easily exceed trillions of dollars. His military genius built the largest contiguous land empire in history. One of Russia's most powerful rulers, Catherine expanded her empire's territory and integrated Western culture into Russian life. This cultural shift also brought unprecedented economic growth. With full access to the state treasury, her economic influence approached the trillion-dollar range. Her patronage of art and science made her not just a political giant, but also a cultural icon. The Mughal Emperor Akbar presided over one of India's golden ages. Wealth from trade routes and agriculture brought the empire's resources to trillions in today's terms. Known for his tolerance toward different religions and cultures, Akbar strengthened the empire both economically and socially. Ruler of the Song dynasty, Shenzong presided over the world's most advanced economy of the time. He introduced improvements to the paper money system and optimized tax revenues, bringing the empire's wealth into the trillions in modern terms. Without such innovations, global economic history might have been very different. Leader of the Soviet Union, Stalin's wealth can't be measured in personal assets, but in his absolute control over one of the largest economies of the 20th century. Through industrialization, agricultural collectivization, and wartime mobilization, he directed vast national resources on an unprecedented scale. These figures were not only wealthy in their time, but also wielded immense power and influence. Some left lasting legacies of charity and innovation, while others reshaped nations and empires through industry, politics, or war. Which of these names impressed you the most, and whose fortune surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to Best of History to witness more of the greatest firsts and mosts in history.